Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the Leafs Convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario. OakRidgeFord.com. It is Monday, November 4th, 2024. Norman, London, Mike in Buffalo. The program sponsored by Oak Ridge Ford. New programs for November, 0% on all kinds of model lines, including F-150. People love to shop for vehicles at this time of the year because there's a big clearance component to all of the deals and blowouts at dealerships. Oak Ridge Ford included at Norman Oak Ridge Ford. I'm your guy for Leafs podcasting. Let me be your guy for your next vehicle purchase, finance, lease, cash, whatever you need. I am here for you all the time. The Maple Leafs have been involved in 11 games so far this season, Mike, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. A 2-1 overtime loss in Minnesota last night. Craig Berube's return to St. Louis, as well as Joseph Wall going back to his hometown, didn't amount to much. The Blues just taking it to the Maple Leafs. The Leafs have definitely had their struggles. I mean, you can go down the stat line and taking way too many penalties, not scoring enough goals. I mean, a lot of perimeter shooting. You name it, Mike. I mean, we are early in the season, and the Winnipeg Jets are out to a massive start, 11-1. That's really fine and dandy, but it's how you finish in the end that's super important. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Norm. Roller coaster is an apt description. I mean, you beat a team that was unbeaten in Winnipeg. You play a really good, solid game against a Seattle team that is still sort of feeling their way. And then you have back-to-back games on the weekend against St. Louis and Minnesota. And the Leafs can thank one thing. They don't play St. Louis again this year because in the two games they played against the Blues, I mean, I don't know if there was the fact that they worked themselves up into a lather to play their former coach.
Right.
They played their best game of the year in Toronto, a 5-1 victory, and then they got their ass handed to them by Ottawa the next night or the next game. So clearly there was money on the board to beat Berube, and they played a really good game, and the Leafs had difficulty getting the puck past Jordan Binnington. So, you can be thankful that they're not playing that Blues team, and then they got a point out of Minnesota. But again, one goal. It was a power play goal, but one goal from William Nylander. This team can score in bunches, but sometimes it dries up at the most inopportune times.
What are you seeing in terms of an offensive system, Mike? 39 goals, not the worst, but they're 25 goals from the top, where the big offensive players are sitting right now, and generally this group with Austin Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, whomever else was in on the offense in that particular year would be among the top 5 in offense throughout the season. And now it's mid-pack at best. What are you seeing from the offense that's causing these kinds of problems? Because the power play has never been the big reason for any kind of offensive outburst or an offensive mindset that got them to a place that no one else could be. It was generally 5-on-5, and that's been struggling as well this year.
But the power play was always dependable, and the power play was always there. It was top 5, top 10 in the league because you had so many good scorers, and now it's near the bottom of the league. And in tight games,
10% on the power play, second worst in the league behind the Sabres.
Yeah, in tight games like the game against Minnesota, you got a power play goal, but maybe you need 2 power play goals. I mean, it's a situation where in certain close games, you need those special teams. You need the penalty killing to be effective. You need the power play to contribute. And they're really not getting that. I mean, right now, Nylander is leading the team with 9 goals. Matthew Knies has 6 goals. Austin Matthews has 5. And John Tavares has 5. It drops off the planet at that point. And so you've got 4 or 5 guys doing all the scoring. Marner's got 12 assists. He's only got 2 goals. I mean, really, you need a diversified offense, and really you're getting it only from a few players.
Yeah, but you didn't expect to get too much offense from Chris Tanev or OEL,
No.
Mike. And I guess on paper, it's okay when you're getting an abundance from the top offensive guys who've done what they've done over the last decade or so, and are kind of chipping away, but not bursting at the seams with capability right now. Michael Matthew, OG, Berube can't coach offense. Never seen the core so frustrated and lack of output. I mean, it's early, but that's why I asked what kind of system are they trying to play here? Are they playing to their strengths, or is Berube trying to fit them, into a situation that they're not necessarily comfortable with yet?
Well, I mean, Berube wants them to play, and he uses the directional north-south, east, east-west, meaning, you're going lateral to the blue line. You're doing a lot of lateral passing, which when intercepted can go the other way and open yourself up to counterattack. He wants direct attack. He wants going into the zone, maybe dumping and chasing, and really maybe that's where the struggle is, because this team has been, to use his vernacular, an east-west team, going back to Babcock and going back to Sheldon Keefe. And now he wants them to play a different type of game. And, you need probably more physical players to play that style, sort of similar to the way his teams played in St. Louis. And if you haven't looked, this team is not the St. Louis Blues. They don't play with that kind of physicality.
Well,
Now,
Pacioretty was throwing his body around last night. I mean, we're just waiting for him to break once and for all.
Yeah, but you're saying who isn't scoring goals? Well, Mitch Marner's got 2 goals. And Max Domi has 0 goals. Maybe it's something about playing in London. No, but I'm just saying. Just kidding.
Marner is the leading scorer on the team. I mean, he's accused of picking up hollow points all the time, but those points will help him make his money. Again, I don't want to get on a tangent about Marner.
No, but you get my point. What I'm saying here is that right now, I mean, this is a top-heavy team, top 2 lines. You're getting most of your scoring from Nyes, Matthews, and Marner, and now that second line with Pacioretty, Tavares, and Nylander. You're getting almost nothing out of the bottom 6. A couple goals out of Steven Lorenz, nothing out of David Kampf, nothing out of Max Domi, nothing after that one game from Bobby McMahon. You're 1 goal in 11 games from Nick Robertson, who scored 15 goals last year. So you really, again, you need more secondary scoring, and they're not getting it.
So the Leafs players have played a certain way and have been fruitful in their gathering of offense over the last several years. Here we are now, not producing to the level that they have, in seasons gone by. And the struggle is acclimating to the coach's wishes and his structural game plan. Mm-hmm. So who's going to win out here, Mike? Does Berube change his tact to get the results that he'd like to get but isn't? Or do the players finally buy in? Or are there going to be transactions to acquire the kinds of guys who can play the north-south game, as you say?
Usually the players win out, but in this instance where the players, again, this core group has been the same core group that has been here since 2016. They're not going to win out this time. They may last out the year in the sense that Mitch Marner's got a no-move clause and he's got a year left in his contract, and John Tavares is in the final year of his deal. If things don't work out and there's another first-round exit, then there will be changes. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a willingness here. I don't perceive any kind of lack of willingness. This team knows that the way that they've played over the last few years has resulted in bupkis. They've lost in the first round, except for that year that they beat Tampa Bay. They've lost every year. You've got to try something different. Now, maybe the players don't fit the way that they want to play, but they have to try, because if they continue, if they go back to the way that they were playing, we know the result.
Yeah, this is the Leafs Convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario, oakridgeford.com. OG's Converse, thanks for being here. Like the content, subscribe to the channel, and then look out for our Convo shorts. We like to cut up snippets from our big discussions, and you guys can share them. We'd like to see those things run wild as well. I really do like it when Mike goes on a tangent, because then I can isolate his just most iconic moments, and then we can share them with the world.
Brilliance is
Yeah,
brilliant.
it's iconic brilliance. T-Sack, I think it will take a while to adjust to a different philosophy. Domi is garbage. There are 6 guys on this team that can score consistently. I mean, there's some frustration there. Mike?
Well, okay. This is – I don't think Max Domi is garbage. I do think that, gee, where did he play his best last year? On the wing. Where is he playing right now? He's playing up the middle. I don't think he's a center. They had to play him at center last year as a fill-in. There were injuries. They were trying to shake things up. You know, he played better in the second half, and he played better when he played late in the season when he played on the wing. Now he played with Matthews, and that helps. But he is a playmaking winger. I don't think he's a center. I think he may be trying to concentrate too much on play and being more responsible defensively. I mean, right now he's a +2, but he's got 6 assists in 13 games and he's got no goals. He only had, I think, 8 or 9 goals last year. You know, they need him to score in double figures. You know, he's not making $10 million a year, so you don't expect this guy to score 60, 65 points, but you need him to contribute, and he's got offensive ability. But where he played best was on the wing. The problem is that up the middle right now, you've got Matthews, Tavares. They wanted to wean him off center. They wanted to even play him on the third line.
Right.
You know, the Nylander experiment at center lasted a whole 2 games. So, you know, if they make a trade out there, maybe they're looking for center help. Who knows? But that's very expensive. But I think Domi, to maximize his ability, not to make a pun, he needs to play on the wing.
Mike Augello, brilliant, punster, brilliance personified. Remind us again, Mike, for you, at what point this team has to get serious and stop juggling lines and experimenting and trying new things?
Well, I mean, I think that's gonna go on all year, depending on the success.
But is it the quarter pole? Like where do you need to be to say, all right, this is the way we're going to play, and we need to start netting results. I mean, let's stop fucking around and getting down to business. I mean, we're still in the early stages of the season. Again, you can come out gangbusters all you want, and we can laud the team and pat them on the back, and then they squeak into the playoffs because the chickens come home to roost. Or you can kind of find your way and get to, slowly get to where you want to go. There's so many different ways to get to game 82 and into the playoffs. It's about making the playoffs.
I mean, the only line that's been consistent so far has been the number 1 line. It's been Nyes, Matthews, Marner. They've moved around the second line. They've moved around the fourth line, move pieces in and out. I don't know if that's going to change, at least not for a little while. I don't think there's going to be a settling in unless this team starts to play consistently. I mean, even on the blue line, it started off with Tanev and Riley. Now it's Tanev and McCabe. And now that's a shutdown pairing. And you have Riley with Ekman-Larsson. The only thing that's really been consistent is the bottom pairing. And that's going to change when Hakanpää comes back. So, I mean, I think it's the river of constant change. Yeah. You're going to continue to see changes until they get the results that they want.
YouTube.com/Leafs Convo/community. Robbie Robertson, another OG. I feel like this team has a few too many passengers. Holmberg is irrelevant, 0 offense and mediocre defense, a waste of a roster spot. Tell us how you really feel, Robbie. Reeves has 0 presence and fewer hits than Max Pacioretty. And I gave Patches his flowers here earlier in the show because he was throwing his weight around. Watch yourself, Patches. I mean, he's as robust as Michael Jackson. Robertson hasn't contributed since the preseason. Have a great show, Leafs Convo. Robbie, thanks. We love you. Appreciate it very much. So, right now, 39 goals for, 39 goals against. Austin Matthews is probably 4 to 5 goals shy of where he could be, dare I say, should be. Nick Robertson, I don't know, like gangbusters in the preseason. He's got one goal. I mean, Holmberg, Kampf, you'd think you'd get 3-4 goals from those guys combined. Domi with 2 or 3. Jake McCabe could score 1 or 2. Bobby McMahon should have 4 or 5. Briley, he's got 3. So this team is about 15 goals shy of where it should be. And if you put the 15 on the board, it's right there in the top 5 where it has been season after season leading up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point now, Connor Dewar is going to come back, and that might be somebody you mix in on the fourth line. And Holmberg doesn't have. He can't clear waivers. You would risk losing him, and some people would say, so what? But I mean, I don't think they want to lose him. Nick Robertson the same. Well, to maximize their abilities, play them where they belong to play. You will not get the most out of Nick Robertson if you're playing him on the fourth line. He is not a fourth line player.
Now who moves down? Who moves down? I mean, you got to shuffle, and that's the thing, right? It's about taking somebody with talent and skill and elevating them to a place where they haven't really earned being, but are most likely to succeed in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, play him on the third line. Play him with Domi. See, I get the feeling that they don't play him on the third line with Domi because Domi is not a particularly good defensive center, and now you're putting not a particularly good defensive center with not a particularly good defensive winger, and then they don't want that. Then it's a liability. Okay, well, we don't know when Calle Yarncroke's going to be back. Connor Dewar is going to come back. You're going to have a bit of a roster crunch here in a little bit.
Right.
I think you need to give Robertson an opportunity playing with people with talent, with offensive talent. Yeah. That to me, I mean, I understand the defensive concern, especially when the team is giving up lots of goals, but you need to score more goals too.
Right. Just looking at Robertson's past 5 games, I mean, just about 11 minutes a game. And then he had a 17-minute game against St. Louis and played almost 14 minutes against Columbus. 1 goal. Like if with a guy who's there to be offensive, if he's just grinding it out, just to kill minutes and just to chip away at the other team's attack until the big shots come in. You're right, Mike. I mean, he's out of place, and that's a major concern. We know the guy can score. He did last season. He did in the preseason, but it's abysmal. I mean, I'd ask myself just by looking at the data, well, why the hell can't you drum up more than 1 shot per game when you're playing 11 minutes? I mean, there's still enough time to get something going, but if he's not playing with anybody who can do anything, then therein lies the problem. He just doesn't capable of being Connor McDavid, every third shift. He needs somebody to help facilitate. But if he's playing with the plugs, and that's not necessarily his game, I mean, it's just a structural issue, and you've got a lot of guys just not doing the things that they're capable of doing because they're in the wrong setting. They're not being being elevated, enabled, right? In a lot of ways, they're being obstructed and impeded from doing the things that they should be able to do, if you've shuffled this deck a little bit differently. Last couple points to you, Mike, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, and I know I've beaten this into the ground, but you need the players who have specific gifts,
right,
to accentuate those gifts, to serve a role. David Kampf is a decent checking center, a good penalty killer. He needs to do those things. He needs to win faceoffs. Ryan Reeves is a plug. He's a pugilist. He's a big presence. He needs to throw his weight around and make his presence known. And if he's not doing that, He does not belong in the lineup. I see more physicality on most nights from Steven Lorenz than I see from Ryan Reeves. Now, it may simply be Ryan Reeves can't catch anybody. And if that's the case, then he shouldn't be in the NHL.
Well, he took a penalty last night, so
wonderful, great. That's a contribution. But like Nick Robertson needs to score, or he shouldn't be on this team. Ryan Reeves needs to fight and hit and be a presence, and if he does not do that, he should not be on the team. Oh, are these back now? How the thumbs? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Get the waffles ready. Oh my God.
Okay,
what year was that from?
2012. Ron Wilson.
Oh my God. Yeah. Look, in a week's time, our mindset might be a lot more positive.
Sure.
I'm kind of looking at it like it's still too early to tell where this team is going to go. But if the head coach has a way that he wants this team to play, and 11 games in, it's still struggling to find out how it's going to apply itself to fulfill the coach's wishes and net the results that both the coach, the organization, and of course the players want, then they've got to keep working at it, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you keep chipping away, try to collect your points and stay in the race. Mike, what do you got going on outside of the Leafs Convo?
Well, just looking at the schedule here for a quick second. I mean, this is a big segment here of a little over a week, right, where they play 4 home games in a row against 4 Atlantic Division teams. Boston, who they didn't play I don't think they played very well against when they played in Boston. Boston, Detroit on Hall of Fame night, Montreal, and Ottawa. Out of those 8 points, I think they need 6. So, the season is not in like danger. I mean, but it's been very inconsistent. And this team is too talented to be as inconsistent as they have been. So they have to right the ship.
So the power play goal they scored, breaking a run of futility, which may or may not get them going.
Mm-hmm.
It had the appearance of something that was more determined than a lot of the other opportunities with the man advantage, going back games and games. It's the perimeter play and a lot of the kind of the fancy schmancy stuff, and just trying to, as you said, make the perfect pass or the perfect shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's instinctual with these guys. It's almost like they can't remove that way of thinking and that way of doing things, as opposed to getting the puck, getting set, putting it on net, having somebody try to score a garbage goal. Just go for it. They clear the puck, come back down and try it again. There's just a lot of just one too many passes. But in that last scenario where they scored, it seemed like there was just a little bit more immediacy and a little bit more just reason for being out there, and it did result in a goal. So do you think that might be something that could help spawn some success with the man advantage?
It was a quick cross ice pass from Matthews to Nylander, who one-timed it. I mean, it was a bang play.
Right.
You haven't seen that kind of quick moving of the puck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, similar to the way that they're playing 5-on-5. Mark Savard is the new power play coach, and they're probably trying new things. And now they're trying new constructs in terms of, you had Matthew Nyes in front of the net. You had Tavares playing that sort of middle position. You've had Ekman Larson. You've had Riley on the power. I mean, you've really been, five forwards on the power play is very risky, Wilfred, because then you have Mitch Marner playing the defensive position, and you have a break going the other way, and then it's like you're having 5 forwards out there.
It also reeks of desperation. This team should be competent and capable of putting up 25 to 30% on the power play with the manpower it has.
The only time you ever use five forwards on a power play is on a 5-on-3, because going the other way is very, very unlikely. But So I'm not against that, but you have to have at least one defenseman out there, and preferably somebody who's got a big shot. We know Morgan Riley doesn't have a big shot, but he can move the puck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now you see the formula that these teams are operating on when they come to neutralize the Toronto power play. Take the shot away from Matthews. Try to take the shot away from Nylander because Riley doesn't have a big shot from the point, and Marner is a pass first guy. So if you do all those things right, then you neutralize the Toronto power play. The Toronto power play has got to do some things different, put players in different positions to be more successful. And I'm sure Mark Savard's trying that, but right now it's just not working.
Marner's had runs of real success shooting the puck in the past, where he would be the guy that would take the shot, tricking everyone, right?
Right, but instinctually he's a pass first guy. I mean, yes, he's got a good shot and he's worked on his shot, and I'm sure the coaches. I know Sheldon Keefe used to say he needs to shoot more. Yeah, he needs to shoot more because nobody thinks he's going to shoot.
Right. Well, look, Craig Berube can connect with these players spiritually and emotionally. It doesn't seem like he's been able to connect with this group strategically and structurally. There's still time for these guys to get on the same page. Like the content, subscribe to the channel. We apologize about the Sunday Spectacular not being there for you. The back-to-back games on the road with the Leafs just made more sense to do something on Monday. Mike and I are both struggling with health right now, a little under the weather, some early colds, but we'll get through that, and then we'll get back to our regular Sundays and a weekday show dropped in there here and there. Like the content, subscribe to the channel, share our content with your friends. Leafs Convo shorts, I'm going to keep cutting them up, and we'll just keep highlighting Mike's brilliance and all of these great comments.
Yeah, but nobody wants to see me in shorts, though.
No, we don't. We don't. So, rest assured, it's the bust. It's the headshot. That's all you're going to get. For Mr. Augello, I'm Norm. Thanks for being here. The Leafs Convo is out. Okay, thanks, Mike.